What up brothers, it's Clipper King returning for a review today on something a little different. As you can see, it's from Breaking Bad and it's Walter White, aka Heisenberg, and it's from the company ThreeZero. I'd like to start off by saying I have reviewed a couple of ThreeZero pieces in the past. The Atlas from Titanfall, the giant robot, please check the review out on that, and also Tyrion Lannister and Ned Stark from Game of Thrones, which were quite impressive for low-end price figures. I was really impressed by them and it was good to see them in hand, so I did review those also, so please check those reviews out on my channel. But like I say, I'm going to roll on, I'm going to review this up. I'm going to start off by saying it's not going to have a massive amount of posers, but I'm going to try and show you everything that the package includes and the different looks you can get from it and tell you my total thoughts on it. I will score it up as usual, so let's crack on and see what the figure does. Right, so let's start off with what we're looking at, the packaging. I'll start off by saying I really like it. Not particularly the quality of the materials used because they're not amazing, particularly the cardboard, but I do like the hard plastic wrap round on the box. So you sort of got the face on the plastic, and then the blue crystal meth and the Breaking Bad wording is actually on the box. So as you can see, as you move the cover up and down, it does just slip off like that. Obviously Heisenberg up there. As we turn the box, you see the background is New Mexico, or I think maybe Albuquerque, I think it was filmed. Moving up to the Breaking Bad with the chemical symbols. Anybody who's seen Breaking Bad will know the reference. Let's cook with the gas mask, and then obviously the symbol from the barrels of the crystal meth that they're cooking. As we look at the other side of the box, you see it's more the Walter White, so with the clear glasses, just stood there in his check shirt and coat. Again, Breaking Bad, Heisenberg. It is a licensed figure, as you can see. And then on the other side of the box, again, just the same spine as the other side. Once you remove the hard plastic cover, you see inside it's just a simple, like I said, pretty low standard cardboard window box. Obviously you open it top and pull the clamp out, and the figure is still inside. So very easy to use, very functional. The artwork is outstanding, I think. Really something good. If they would have mixed that with a better quality of cardboard, I would have given it a 5 out of 5. But as it stands, I'm only going to give it a 4 out of 5. Okay, so now we'll move on to the figure. And before I talk about the likeness, I will just say I know I don't score source material anymore in the review, but I would still like to talk to it. I have seen all Breaking Bad and really did like it. It's up there with my favourite TV shows, so I'm talking Dexter, Game of Thrones. I really like Ray Donovan. I really liked Walking Dead, although it's getting really hard to watch at the moment, I think. I've lost a little bit of interest with that, but I did like Breaking Bad. I will also say I did think the first series was a little bit slow, and I do think the 5th series was a little bit drawn out. I don't know, the first series, I think, because obviously you just find out he's got cancer, there's scenes where he's having chemotherapy and so on and so forth. They're a little bit hard to watch. That might just be a personal thing, but I find them a little bit hard to keep with. But I stuck with it, and by the end of the first series, you are pretty much hooked. I think the 2nd, 3rd and 4th were really, really good. And then on the 5th series, I think they went up to about 16, maybe 17 episodes, and it just felt like there were a few filler episodes for me. So that's my personal thoughts on it, but I do rank it really highly. The character is awesome. Walter White is just pretty much not what you expect at all. It's a really... I always thought it a really different telling of the Scarface story. And it's sort of... Although he's doing something wrong, you see his reasons for why he's doing it. You see how he gets sort of embroiled in the trouble that cooking meth brings, I would think, or selling drugs in general. So where you feel with Scarface, it's still a rags to riches story. Tony's pretty much drove by greed, because I think he had the choice of, he could have worked hard for a living to generate money, where Walter White's pretty much trying to secure his family's security because he feels that he's going to die from the cancer he's got. So, but either way, it's a really good show. So let's crack on and have a look at the likeness. as you see, I've got him displayed with the clear lens glasses. It does also bring the shades and the pork pie style out. I will show you those in a little while. But I just wanted to demonstrate him in more of the Walter White look. I'll take the glasses off now you've seen it. I've got to say, I don't know if it's just this one or everybody's version. The lens on the clear ones are a little bit cloudy. And when you look at him with those glasses on, I don't think he looks his best because it sort of magnifies the eyes a little bit. So with the clear glasses on, I think that's the weakest it looks. With just the head sculpt, I think it's really good. I saw a recast of the Trevor Grove sculpt, which also is really good, but then you're down to finding a really good painter to bring that sculpt out, which, I don't know, there's a lot of good painters around, but they vary in prices. Sometimes they're going to be wanting $100 to paint your head, and then I think it takes the overall figure to sort of a little bit unrealistic for a casual collector. So I will say, and I'll cover this more in value, I think that this might be the best mass-produced Walter White out there because I can't think of another version to start with, and certainly not one as good as this. So if you are a passing fan of certain TV shows, I think this one captures him really well. I'm not saying it's better than the Trevor Grove because I don't know that. I'd like to see him side by side, but I will say that this is really, really good. The sculpt is good. The eyes have got depth and sort of the wet look about them. I think the beard could have been done a little bit cleaner, if I'm honest, paintwork wise. But the scalp and the pigmentation on the skin, I think they've done a really, really good job on. And that also, although I can't really move the shirt one-handed, that also goes down onto the neck as well. So they have done good work. I've said this before as well. The Ned Stark, a lot of people give it a little bit of shit, said the paint job weren't really good. This is a step better from ThreeZero, yet they've still kept the price around the same range, the £100 mark, so like $150. So although it's a lot cheaper than a standard Hot Toys, I think the quality is really, really getting up there. So I'm really impressed with the sculpt. Like I said, once you put these clear shade glasses on, because of the cloudy look of the lens, it alters eyes for me and it don't look its best. I think if you put them on and you're looking at it from a distance, it still looks pretty good. But I would certainly prefer it without the clear lens glasses, that is for sure. I will also concede to a couple of the sort of the written reviews I've seen and said that from certain angles it loses the look a little bit. I do agree with that. As I move around, you know, I do film freehand. So, to some people's fucking annoyance, people want me to use a tripod. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be like every other reviewer out there. I like to move around it because if you're looking at something in a museum or in somebody's collection, you don't stand still. You look around it. You try and take it in from every angle because that's when you realise it's a 3D item. So that is why I float around with the camera. I'm saying that because I think from certain angles I will show you, I think you will concede and say, yeah, it's definitely in. But then from other angles you will look and think, no, it's just off. So I am going to represent that in the scores and say it's only got a 4 out of 5. Before I roll on, let's have a look at him with the hat and glasses. I think we'll do it in stages. So I've just got the hat on. The hat and the clear lens glass. Or glasses, should I say. And then the total Heisenberg look with the shades and the hat. So, like I said, I've given the likeness a 4 out of 5. Let's roll on and talk about the outfit. Right, let's talk clothing. Before I start giving you scores, let me just say, over the last few years, and maybe through my total time through collecting and being around the 1/6 community, certain figures get attempted kit bash wise and custom wise more than any other. Sometimes they come out looking really good, sometimes they do them and they spend a fucking fortune, sometimes people will over support the one they've created and then disrespect others to try and make theirs look better. I've got to say, in my time around this community, probably Walter White and Rick Grimes have got to be the ones most attempted, and that's without doubt. If you can think of another one that gets done as much as these two, let me know. Now, like I said earlier, I bought a recast of the Trevor Grove head sculpt, which were the best at the time and possibly still is. But then you sit down on YouTube, on eBay, and try and make a Walter White, and you're gonna have a fucking nightmare for a few reasons. Simply, the art is not around. You can't find it, or if you can, you've got to go to somebody who's just producing these arts, and then they want fucking blood from a stone to pay for it. You try and buy a jacket like that, like as accurate to the show as that, it's a fucking nightmare. And you think it's just a simple box jacket, it will be easy to find. It's not. You go through, it might be different now because obviously this figure's released and I ain't checked for these parts for quite a while. But finding a jacket like that were a fucking nightmare. I ended up thinking that the closest one to it were a T-1000 jacket from the Terminator, which weren't accurate, if I'm honest. You try and find them shoes. Now, there were sculpts of these moccasin-style shoes out there, but again, they were unpainted and they were expensive, so then you'd have had to buy them, send them to a painter, and get them looking somewhat like decent. And then on top of that, try and find either pair of the glasses accurate to the show. It were a fucking nightmare. I know people pick glasses up like that and have paid like around fucking $50 to $70 for them, for a pair of glasses, and you think, fucking hell, how bad do you want a Walter White that you're doing a kit bash figure worth that? Now, the alternate look would have been the chem suit or the hazmat suit with the gas mask. You try and find that gas mask, it was a fucking nightmare to find. So this is why I'm going to rate this sort of with a slight bias, because I'm thinking this answers a lot of people's questions. To be able to just spend £100 and put a Walter White into the collection really were a godsend from ThreeZero, because a lot of them people shopping around for parts have all of a sudden got them. Even if you'd have bought it for the glasses, the art and the jacket, I think that would have been about £100 on eBay anyway. So I just wanted to say that. So let's talk about the quality of the outfit. We'll start off with his hat because it's at top. It is sculpted. You see it has the bow on the side, and I think I'm right in thinking he wears the bow above his left ear. And he does wear it in various ways. Sort of the more intense scenes, he would have his hat pulled forward. Whereas when he's more relaxed, the hat would be pushed off. Coming down to the check shirt. Pretty good materials, but not amazing, if I'm honest. It has a white t-shirt underneath. And then onto the jacket I spoke about. Now, there is a zip on it, but I've not tried to zip it up, so I can't tell you if it does. But it does look really accurate and fits really well. The faux leather belt, and then moving down to the beige coloured trousers or slacks, whatever you want to call them, with a nice pleat down the front, going down to the sculpted moccasin. Now, onto the shoe, some people have given it a lot of disrespect, said they don't like it. I think it looks okay, but they've not captured the fact that these are like either suede or like the nubuck material. I think it would be hard to capture in a sculpt anyway, because it's not like you can scuff it up or really weather it, because then it'd look pretty inaccurate, I think. So they've done as well as they could without using the proper material. So they're okay. They're not amazing. Same with all the outfit. It is all cotton, and I don't know, when you've looked at other outfits, and other outfits even in this price range, now I'm thinking about stuff like the damn toy stuff. These are all £100 figures, or round about that. And the materials they use are just better. The tailoring seems better. I know they're limited because of the style and that, what it is, but these just, damn toys have gone the extra yard. That's the point I'm trying to make, and that is very apparent on this figure. One thing that I find very confusing is, underneath the white t-shirt, they've used sort of a padded fat suit, pretty much like on the Don Corleone by Hot Toys. And I don't understand why, because if I think inside my head, if I'm not sat watching Breaking Bad and I sit and think Walter White or Heisenberg or Bryan Cranston as a whole, I never think of him as a chubby kind of dude. And the fact that he's playing a cancer sufferer would mean that he would lose weight, because while he's having his chemo and radiotherapy, he would lose weight. I've seen effects of cancer. So I don't understand why he's got this chubby look about him. I don't know if they're just not confident that the body weren't accurate and they've tried to put it on. I don't know, I just don't understand it. And if this were a figure that were mine or something I were keeping, then that would be the first thing to go. I would just cut the fat suit off and I'd go at it, because then I think the shirt would hang a lot better. I mean, it is quite a deep fat suit as well, to be honest. And like I say, I just don't understand why. I think it would have been more accurate without it. but I don't know, I could be wrong. If you think I'm wrong, don't forget to comment below. But all in all, the outfit's okay. Like I said, it answers the questions about people who are struggling to find the parts. The parts are all included. So even if you wanted to buy the figure to take the parts and enhance your custom Walter White, then I suppose that's an option. But on the outfit you get, and also down to the cloudy lens on the clear glasses, that's what made me bring it down a point as well. But I've only given the outfit a 3 out of 5. Rolling on to articulation. Before we start, just move up, show the pose. There you go. He's borrowed old Tony Montana's chair, he has, getting all gangster he's saying. Just admiring his empire. So there he's got some dollar bills and his piece in his hand. Just crossed his legs over. I've done that just to show you the articulation. So the legs will move enough for him to cross them over while he's in a seated position. And I will pretty much just tell you that the body is limitless. Start at the top. The articulation point of the neck is at the bottom, so it's on a ball joint, moves quite freely. Sometimes feels a little bit loose, so look out for that. Moving down the upper body, there is a crunch section, rotation at the waist, the multi-directional shoulders, double bend elbows, wrist pegs, the hips move in all directions, double bend knee, and then ankle on a ball joint. I will say there's no socks, so the leg goes straight down into the foot. So there's nothing really it won't do pose wise, and I can't even think of many poses you could put it in. That's the honest truth of it. You could display with your other gangsters or your other TV show characters and it would look good, it would look pretty natural. Like I said earlier, for the accuracy of the pose, I would take the fat suit off, but I will say even with the fat suit on, it's not hindered at all. So the articulation, I couldn't give it anything other than a 5 out of 5. Right, moving on to extras, and I'll probably do value with this because I think they go hand in hand. So just looking at the total set, you know it's not going to get a massive score on extras. Especially when, as well, some of the things aren't the best quality. So let's go in and talk about it. I included the hat as his outfit, same with the glasses, although if you wanted you could choose to rank them as extra items. I think they'd have been a must with this figure anyway, so I don't know, you can rank them as what you want. I will say the glasses fit nicely, sculpted to the head, I do like it, just a flat black paintwork, and I do like the pork pie style hat, although it is sculpted and it doesn't feel of felt or anything like that. They could have done that because I've seen it done again on the Damn Toys figures. The gun is pretty much cheapest at cheap, if I'm honest. It's like the old Action Man style guns, one piece sculpted plastic, nothing eye-catching, but what's worse than that is what's all in the gun, and I'm talking the hands. I don't know, this day and age hands shouldn't look like this. They're just the stock shaped hands, so the stock pistol hand, the stock relaxed hand, and then these two monstrosities, which, I don't know, no detail, just really flat paintwork. I don't know, cheap as chips I suppose. Not a good look. The fact you only get 4 of them as well. And another thing that I noticed, the hand doesn't even match the wrist peg or the arm. So again, nowhere near good enough, so that is a bit of a downer. And I think ThreeZero will watch this review. And I hope they do, and I hope they take it as constructive criticism, because I'm not just having a dig at them, because in my mind I keep thinking it's an £100 figure, it's an £100 figure, it's not a £200 straight to your door figure like Hot Toys are. So I'm keeping that in mind, but I can't allow for shit like crap hands, because we're past that, we're about 5 years past that, so fuck these shitty hands off ThreeZero. The glasses, I'm glad they included them, although they're not the best, particularly the clear lens one. I wish they would have just been clear lens and not this cloudy looking lens that this one's got. And then you get the 5 stacks of money, which are individually printed, so that is a nice touch. But all in all, it's not a vast amount of things. And I've always said before, if there's nothing else I can think of, then I'll let it slide and I'll still score it quite good. But I don't know, there's a couple of things that stops me from doing it. The fact that I can think of other things that they aren't included. So, straight off the bat, no stand. That's one, easy one. Even if it's just a standard, generic, Hot Toy style stand with a nameplate on, chuck us one in. Saves us having to buy one separate, so they've missed that. The other thing, the hazmat suit, a change of boots, the gas mask. So people, I'm not saying that, I don't know, people might have wanted either look, but people might have also bought two, if that's the way. If they'd included both sets, they might have bought the figure twice, so they could have had two, depending on how bigger fans of the program they are. You might have sold double just by putting the extra bits in. So that's the way I look at it. Like I said, a bag. So you could have had like the, what is it? The Spade 7 from Damn Toys come with a big duffel bag that it's got like a cardboard cutout of money and then a few loose notes. Now there's a scene in the programme where he's got a bag full of money and Ang pretty much asks him what's inside it. So that could have been another touch. And I don't know. And I keep thinking to myself, am I asking too much for the price? And I think no, because like I've said before, I'm not even comparing the figure to Hot Toys. I'm comparing it to these. Now, this is the original J, although it's more than £100 now. That brought a bag and a weapon, no stand though. This one, sniper rifle, all these bits and bobs, good quality outfits, bags, fucking poncho. That's the variant. This one, quality stuff that it brings. All these are all released round the same price as this ThreeZero figure. Yet the clothing and the accessories and extras, stuff you get. I mean, look at the bag that one brought. Like a real leather feel bag with working pockets and pouches and everything. They just brought so much more for the same price, and that is why I'm on a bit of a downer with the extras on this one. So I am going to score it only a 1 out of a possible 5. Like I said, the options were there, they could have given us more, but they chose not to, so for that they have to be given only a 1 out of 5. And then obviously telling you that with the extras being so low, I've got to move on to value. Now I've got to change my thinking on this because I'm thinking of the other figures like I've just shown, the Damn Toys Gangsters Kingdom figures around that price. Now it don't compare for bang for your buck, so to speak, but I've also got to think, I know last 2 years all these parts individually make this more than £100 figure, because like I said, you try and pick up a Walter White head sculpt other than this, going to cost you a fortune. Then have it repainted, going to cost you a fortune. Try and get that jacket, again, another load of money. The glasses, the art. Try and pick up the parts to create your own Walter White, and then you'll appreciate that they've kept this figure around the £100 mark. So for that reason, like I said, depending how you look at it, compare it to something in its price range, it's going to look a bit of a downer, but compare it to the custom kit bash prices out there, they won't have got a much better Walter White than this, I can guarantee you that, but they will have paid a lot more. So for that reason I'm going to give the value a 4 out of 5, which gives the figure a total of 21 out of a possible 30, which is really respectable to say it didn't bring a lot of stuff. Not much more I can say. Please leave your comments below, let me know your thoughts. It's always nice on a figure like this. Sometimes I read the comments on the Hot Toy stuff and I think a lot of them are from fanboys anyway. They would have bought it regardless of my review. Stuff like this, I've not seen many reviews of it out there, so your feedback would be appreciated on it. What are your thoughts? Have I reviewed it fairly? What do you hope that ThreeZero would change on the future figures? Because I'm buzzing a little bit that there is another company out there that are picking up licenses and still managing to keep the figures at a low end price. I think that is a good thing, but like I said, if they are wanting to move into the big boy league, then they've got to start including big boy stuff. So if you've not subscribed already, please do so. Please like my videos, please comment, share them around. For now, this is Clipper King, and I'm out of here.